Abaru, Abuye, Abu Shishe to all the fellow Awo, Alafia to um, everyone, attending and watching as we go live today on the Isese Post. I'm here with my co-host, Chibami. We are
Boy,
here to
boy, boy, she said, Kabiye say, Shango, Obakoso. What's good with you, Baba?
the and everything is well. Everything is well. Another day on this, Kabiesi Shango Day. Man. So what's going on, man? What's been going on in your world?
A lot, man, a lot, whole lot. Vast majority of it positive, good. Good progression. A lot of the Ashe and Ishe post is definitely doing this thing, man. There's been a lot of love and support coming. I'm seeing the channel growing. A lot of people showing love, on the channel with the comments and the subscriptions and just showing love, man. We had uh my godmom's Yeye Oshun Bumi, her 54th Odun last weekend. The Ele was feeling it. They was showing love. So it's definitely been at the top of the priority list in terms of just putting in the work to add value and to bring the African spirituality experience to the people. And then of course with the Shay post, they loving it. Shout out to Hondread for stopping through, showing love last week.
Yeah.
Coming and blessing us with the vocals and what I'm saying, and his good energy. So it's been dope, man. It's been dope. I can't complain at all.
Oh shit, man. Yeah, same over here. There's been a lot of enlightening, things going on when it comes down to uh, Shango being present. It's been raining a lot. There's been a lot of thunder going on. It's been real interesting. Um, but I want to I first want to dive into Ile Ori. Here they had a Oshun festival yesterday. I didn't get a chance to attend. I was traveling and whatnot, but um, I definitely want to highlight Ile Ori as being one of the foundations, along with Baba Ogun Tolu being one of the pioneers in the Ile as well. And this Sheshe Post is also sponsored by the Balagun Shango office. We appreciate him for making everything possible for us. But Ileo Re has they have the 30 years. They're celebrating 30 years of service in the Atlanta community. Coming up September 8th from 4 to 8 p.m. So if you're a E5 practitioner or you want to become one, you can definitely go check out Ile Ori as they celebrate 30 years of service within the Atlanta community, and them pioneering what we call Ifa. So yeah, I definitely want to highlight them, and those two sisters over there, and the Balagun Shango Oguntolu, they helped to get us where we are today. You know, along with my grandparents and so on and so forth. So definitely want to shout them out for sure.
Mm. I sure. Yeah, no, that's what's up, man. Baba, I spoke to Baba a couple times this weekend, and yeah, he definitely loving it too, man. I'm looking forward to him coming back and us building it and then chopping it up with the Balogun Shango USA. So shout out to Baba, like you said, for making everything happen and making all the connections that he's made, for us and
Mhm.
so many others. You know what I mean? So it's definitely been an honor and a pleasure, just to be a part of the office as well as, like you said, it being sponsoring the Ishe posts and really just adding and not just value but wisdom. Baba definitely got a treasure chest of wisdom. He is a walking treasure chest. So it's always an honor and a pleasure to chop it up with him, man, for sure.
Yeah, man. Yes, super cool. Also, I definitely want to say Ibara Terun, the king of Oyatunji, that has just passed away as well. Because his lineage, his family, his father and whatnot. They helped to pioneer, a lot of things when it comes down to Ifa here in the states. So for him to leave us early, was definitely a devastating thing for the Ifa community. So we have to be aware as leaders of the Ifa community to um, always, protect your leaders. Protect your
Facts.
leaders. Always, show gratitude to your leaders as well. Because one day, if it's in your path to become a leader, you will want those to protect you.
I sure.
So, it's not just about them, and you being their, students or, godchildren or whatever. It's more so about, having that two-way street. We have to have a two-way street as we, are, in Ifa and, as a Orisha priest or, Babalawo or Yanifa. We have to have that in order to keep pushing the culture forward, so we can protect what we have. It's not so much about protecting the leaders, but it's more so about protecting our culture and who we are as a people. So if anybody got anything from this tragic incident that happened with the king, is to look internally, as to who's around you. And if there's any problems, go ahead and, settle those problems. If there's differences or whatever the case may be in your Ele or people even on the outside, just make sure that everything is, solid, and so we can keep everything, pushing forward.
Yeah, that's facts, and definitely, send a shout out, an upliftment and prayer to the Oba. It took me for a loop, as it did the whole community, the whole culture for that matter, So it's been a challenge, definitely here, because I mean, we was just there a few weeks ago, and like to be there and to witness that for me, my first time being at the village and then seeing just the ambiance and you know what I mean, like the power and the history that lives there, in that historical village. It definitely was. It still not really fully digested by me, and I'm sure many others. So it's like you spot on with that. We definitely got to protect our leaders, our elders, our women and children. You know what I mean? We got to protect our whole community and village and culture as a whole. For real. And with that, with today being, the day of Oshe Shango, and heavily influential he is not just on the Sheshe post, but on the Ashe African spirituality experience. Or it just in the world as a whole. Kabiese is huge in terms of what he brings to the elements of, especially the core seven Orisha, but just into the whole dynamics of the Orisha and the Sheshe traditions as a whole. So with that, you are a initiated priest, a child of Shango, man. And today is Oshe Shango Day today on the Isese post, sponsored by the Balagoon Shango. So he's definitely a strong theme, in our environment today. With that, I kind of, if you don't mind, wanting to kind of throw some questions your way today, even though I know it's, the post, but I want to kind of see, like, with you, being a Shango priest and then also being a Ifa priest and a Egungun priest as well. What are some of the significance you feel like with someone like yourself who has the Ashe of Shango? What are some of the different ways that people who are entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, business owners, etc., what are some of the ways that we can kind of maybe channel or like invoke some of the energy or the strength or the power, the characteristics or traits of Baba Shango in order to like utilize that to give us the confidence or the extra, you know what I mean, the extra fuel to really make things happen, especially if it's people who might be trying to start a business venture the first time or people who might be struggling, with their business venture. What are some ways that we can kind of channel that Shango power, energy, and authority in terms of helping us to grow and be successful?
Man, that's man, that was a good one. That was a good so so the biggest thing is telling the truth, first of all.
Mm,
Comes down to your business, how you channel. Shango is being truthful with people inside of your business.
mm,
Even when it comes down to not being greedy as well. Make sure that you have reasonable prices for people.
mm,
Shango is about fairness, as long as justice as well.
mhm,
So with that, we have to also we have to know the story of when Shango didn't have anything.
mm,
You know, Shango and most Shango people are supposed to be really wealthy. So, you know, there was a story that, you know, an elder had told me recently about, you know, Shango. And when he was poor, he was like, you know, Rumila had, you know, he had meetings with all the Orisha
Mhm.
every month. Once a month, he would have meetings with them, you know, or gatherings, so to say.
Mhm.
He would give them, you know, things to walk away with, you know, whether it's a present or whatever. So he gives all the Orisha, you know, pumpkin.
Mhm.
He gives all the Orisha pumpkin, and mind you, you know, Shango, he doesn't have anything. All the other Orisha, you know, they're pretty stable. So at that point in time, before they left, you know, Rumila gave all the Orisha pumpkin. And inside of the pumpkin, you know, one had, you know, diamonds, one had gold, one had cowrie shells, one had silver, one had money, so on and so forth. So when they left, when all the Orisha left the gathering, the Orisha threw away their pumpkin except for Shango.
Mm.
So Shango went and gathered all the Orisha's pumpkins that they didn't want. He gathered all of them. He went home, opened all the pumpkin, and he obtained all the wealth.
Mm.
All the other Orisha didn't take advantage of what Orunmila blessed them with.
Right.
So the next month came around, and Orunmila asked all the Orisha. He was like, "Hey, what did you all do with your pumpkin?"
Mhm.
No, one was like, "Well, I made pumpkin pie." Another one was like, "I made pumpkin soup." You know, so on and so forth. And next thing you know, Shango pulls up. He got gold. He pulled up in a horse in a chariot. That's why the horse is sacred to Shango.
Mm.
So, you know, he had all the diamonds, he had money, he had everything. So Orunmila was like, I know all of y'all are lying
Mm.
because the last time we seen Shango, he didn't have anything. And I saw him pick up all of you all's pumpkin. Now he obtained all the wealth. So you all have to announce him as Kabiesi.
Mm.
So this was one of the stories of how Shango went from Baba Shango to Kabiesi. He
Mm.
became king because he obtained everything that everyone took advantage of
Mm.
and didn't want. So with that, you know, within that story, you know, and this is a man that, you know, is also he's in the agriculture field, he's in the farming.
Mhm.
So for him to tell me that he asked me the question, he was like, so he was like, so do you know how many, you know, pumpkins you can get out of one pumpkin seed? I was
Mm.
like, no, I don't know. He was like, you can get up to 10 pumpkins out of one pumpkin seed.
Wow.
So he was like, when you open up a pumpkin, you see that there's nothing but seeds in the inside.
Mhm.
So with that, I was like, man, so he was like, you know, that's why, you know, you have to equivalent, you know, pumpkin to wealth. You know what I mean? Because out of one, you can get 10.
Right.
So that tells you a lot about Shango. So within that, to answer your question, we have to initially, man, we have to, you know, be steadfast what we do. Because most of us, you know, Shango priests, man, we always, you know, end up with the good end of the stick
Mm.
because we normally, you know, we take advantage of what other people don't want.
Mm.
We turn nothing into something. That's the power of Shango. He turns sand into gold.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that explains, you know, a lot about his life, man. So at the end of the day, you know, that's another way to tap into Shango is, you know, like I said, just be truthful, you know, and you know, stay steadfast and honest, and you know, the wealth will accumulate because there's going to come a point in time where someone may not want something that you see very valuable, you know, that'll help your business prosper, you know.
Mm.
So for us, it's not about, you know, the quote unquote, you know, having all the money right away. It's like we'll obtain it one way or another will obtain it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but it's like even Shango, he wasn't, wealthy his whole life. He had to go through some struggle in order to get to where he needed to go.
Mm.
So that goes for us as well, man. Like we can't expect to be, priest and just expect this accumulation of wealth to come overnight. You know what I mean? Like everything, takes a process, you know. And also, like I said, the king does not lie.
Mm.
So if the king doesn't lie and we're vessels of that, then we can't lie either.
Right. Ashe. Yeah. Now, that's powerful. And it's a dope, not just a answer to the question, but also by sharing that story. Because I'm not sure how many people actually have heard that particular story about Shango. I mean, there's a lot of different ones, but I don't know. I've never heard that one prior to you sharing it with me. And then so with that, before we go to the next topic, like I was tapped in last week multiple times with divination, and one of the old dudes that came out was it was Obara Meji,
Mhm.
and I found some insight in that old dude that was extremely powerful. Like that's a very, I mean, all those dudes are powerful, but Obara Meji is extremely powerful. Like I mean, like one of the things I think that really uh it was, I won't say a shock, but I was surprised, pleasantly surprised about that. The energy that comes with Obara Meiji is like the energy of like some of the highest intelligences of to ever cross the planet Earth, like even to like the pyramid builders in Kemet. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just like so many different high level achievements that were created or that were, you know what I mean, like that were implemented throughout that old dude with Obara Meiji. So can you kind of share with the people like some of the significance of that Odu and maybe like some of the lessons that people can kind of get out of it and maybe apply as well, kind of like the principles of what Shango stands for?
Ooh, so I've experienced Obara for Hantifa.
Hmm.
So it's a very 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 intricate Odu,
Hmm.
but and this has a lot of Shango in it.
Yeah.
You know
Got that
what
6'6".
yeah, yeah, man. So I think as far as Obara goes, it just it talks about like I said, it's a lot of honesty in that.
Right.
That'll do. It's a lot of honesty in that.
Hmm.
It's very it's a very intricate part of the 16 Odu. Because with it being so Shango strong, um, you have to abide by all the rules of Shango.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And I
Like
believe
taboos.
another one is Erosun, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm.
As far as that Shango piece. So, um, but Obara man is very very steadfast on obeying the rules and not breaking the taboos of what Shango stands for.
Mm. I sure.
In a nutshell, you know what I
Right.
mean. So if you have anything as far as Obara Meiji or just Obara in general, you definitely want to follow the guidelines of what that is.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because they're very very powerful, and you don't want to get on the other side of what that is.
Mm-mm. Nah, and I'm gonna tell you, like it's kind of, I won't say ironic, but it is. I feel like it's kind of coincidental that I got exposed to like that particular Odu at a deeper level this past week. But then going into this weekend, we had some very powerful storms down here, in the Florida area, and it's like we had it was, I don't know, I heard some reports saying it was a category 1 hurricane, but most of the others were saying that it was a tropical storm. I guess a real strong tropical storm. But I tell you what, man, I was talking last night and it was like throughout the conversation, I would just see like the lightning bolts striking. I mean, they were striking hard. And they always strike hard here, especially in this area, but they was even crazier last night. And I'm like, yo, in the middle of the conversation, like, man, look, that's Isese, boy, he talking. And then, of course, you know, the thunder comes hitting real hard not long after the lightning strike. So they definitely was, hey, man, yeah, was making their presence known here in the state of Florida for sure, for sure this week, for sure. Like, it was a very powerful show of nature, man, very powerful show of strength and force, you know, in terms of both of how powerful those deities are.
Of course. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
indeed. Like I said, you know, as long as we stay, you know, pure and, you know, true to, you know, who we are, everything works itself out. Because one thing that you have to know just about Odu in general, is that you like I said, you never want to get on the other side of your Odu. You want to stay as pure as possible.
Right.
And that's not just for Obara, that's for, you know, any Odu. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
want to stay as pure as possible within the Odus that you have, whether it's Hansi-Fa or um, whether it's, you know, your Ifa initiation, your Itefa, you know. So at the end of the day, man, like that's something that, you know, a lot of people need to know, is that you don't want to get on the wrong side of it because it's hard to get back to the good side of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of people get stuck in their ways of doing certain things the way that they want to do it. You know, and we have to also know that, you know, in Ifa, nothing is on our time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like everything is in the hands of Ifa. Period. Point blank. Old Damare has the last say so. You know,
Yeah.
so we can't rush things or, you know, expect, you know, to have, you know, Ebo done and expect things to happen, you know, overnight. But, you know, things can happen that way, but, you know, you still have to be patient in the process of, you know, what that is. And just, you know, respecting all those dudes, you know, that, you know, you have and the people around you have as well.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah. No, that's facts. And in terms of patience, that's something that's been like a theme that's come up a few times over the last week or so. You know, this week in terms of like the conversations I've been involved in, whether it was on the show or off, you know, just regular conversations. How beneficial is having patience, especially when we're talking about working with EFI and working with the Orisha? Because I think some people might have this misconception that yeah, if you do divination, or yeah, if you get Ebo, or yeah, if you do head cleaning, or you know, whatever the prescription is that comes with the communication through the oracle. When you do that, I think some people think things are going to happen like boom, like immediately. You know what I mean? But I know you and I both have had conversations about how we have to be patient and how patience is definitely a virtue when we're talking about dealing with this particular system in science. So what are some of the benefits of not just being able to like tap into the energy and the science of this system, but also of being able to exhibit or develop patience when it comes to kind of like elevating, expanding, you know, your path and your growth and progress, not just as a practitioner, but as a person, you know, in general, as a whole.
Um, well, the biggest thing when it comes down to patience, which is being in a state of obatala, is is equivalent to patience equals intention.
Mm,
If your intentions is right, you'll have patience.
mm,
If you have patience, then you have good intention.
mm,
So a lot of people don't equate the two together.
mm,
You know, when we talk about patience, we talk about believing in what you're doing.
mm,
You know, a lot of people come to Ifa with the wrong intention and they don't have any patience to let things run its course. You know, when you're coming to Ifa, you have to be in a level, in a mindset of this is something that I believe in. This is something that I want to do. I'm not just coming here to reap the benefit or um, expect something to change overnight because my life is in shambles.
mm,
And that's, you know, a large, you know, majority of people around the world. That's what they expect.
mm.
You know, they want everything to be right now. You know, but it's like, okay, well, let's check the intention of why you want it to be right now. You know what I mean? And we have to also look at, you know, the era that we're in is the microwave era.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Like we're in the microwave era and we have to go back to, when we were kids, we had to go outside and play. We had to be creative. You know what I mean? So now that the creative aspect has been taken away because everything is at our fingertips. So with that, man, as kids, man, we had to be patient with everything. Our parents were, they raised us under different circumstances. You know what I mean? So if they didn't have it, they figured out a way to get it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And some people had very, very fortunate situations, but still the times were different, and there wasn't, a plethora of quote unquote resources. So now that we're in this microwave era, we have to, take a step back and be like, okay, what am I doing? Why am I here? And is my intention right on what I'm doing? So that's one of the biggest things when it comes down to patience.
Mm.
Uh, is checking the Ori and where people are mentally. You
Right.
know, have you had an Ori cleansing? Is that something that you do on a regular so you can receive patience? Some people don't know how to receive it.
Right.
You have to first receive it first in order to jump inside of Ifa. You got to have patience. The Bible Lao has to have patience to sit there and do, Ebo for you or do Ebo Riru for you. You know what I mean? Like that process isn't, an overnight process like that. It takes time to sit there and care for your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, or sit there and give you divination, that particular Babalawo or, whoever you deal with, man, they should be able to, sit there and care for you and give you the correct messages as well. But all of that, it takes patience.
Mm.
So you have to keep that in mind.
Oh yeah, definitely on both sides too. I think because some people there is a lot of I remember looking at the clips from last week, and I believe you had spoke about like the significance of how important it is for a devotee or even a priest, priestess, etc. But anyone who's working with a Babalao, Ianifa, Babalarisha, Iyalarisha, in terms of like their standards or in terms of like how they do their work for, whoever the client is or the devotee is. And one of the things that I remember you saying, I think matter of fact, it might have got clipped into a short, was about feeling the vibe, like feeling the vibe of that particular diviner, that particular spiritual advisor, consultant, mentor, etc. And then kind of like going from there to see if it's somebody who you actually can, work with in terms of doing work and learning from and getting specific prescriptions filled for you. So what are some of the signs that you would tell people to look for in terms of knowing that they're dealing with somebody who has their best interest at mind and that is going to give them, the type of work and the type of services that is going to be beneficial for them? And then what are also some signs that, that you would give people to look for that might be feeling the vibe of someone who might not necessarily be right because of some of the things or the practices or the lack of offering of different types of, or just the time or the services that they offer to them? Like, what are some things that people who are new that are just crossing paths with this tradition that they want to go further, but they know there's certain levels that they can't get to unless they go under the guidance of an initiated, trained priest or priestess? So what are some of the signs to look for people when they're in that phase of feeling the vibe to know whether to deal with a person or not?
So the first thing is that you want to be able to feel a vibe. You need to when you sit down with that person, how do you feel?
Mm.
Do you have a connection with this person that they can help propel you? The questions that they ask you when the Odu falls, the questions that they ask you, are they congruent or in alignment with where you're at right now?
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like what does that look like? How does that feel?
Mm.
Because you can kind of base that, be like, oh, okay, yeah, this person don't know what they're talking about. Or,
Mm-hmm.
no, you spot on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So those are a couple of signs that you can, but you're in the middle of or when you begin to get divination, you can really tell that someone is genuine because all your senses are there at that point in time.
Mm.
You get divination because you want to know the message.
Right.
Your eyes, your ears, your smell, everything intensifies in that moment
Mm-hmm.
because you're so excited about what's going on. So within that, it's like, with all of your senses, man, you have to. It's almost like being a kid again.
Mm.
It's like, how does that make you feel in that moment? And another thing to watch out for is if you can't see the work that's being done or that's supposed to get done for you to push forward, that's a red flag.
Mm.
If someone is charging you for ebo
Mm-hmm.
and that ebo and you can't see it being done or you're not there when it's done, that's a super red flag.
Mm.
Period, point blank.
Mm.
If they can't send you video of that and you can't be there and it's not being done in that moment in time or whatever the case may be, like that's a super duper red flag that your work is not being done and they're just taking your money.
Mm.
Period. You know what I mean? Also, trying to think, man, there's a number of things, to look for. Like I said, the biggest things is, checking your senses, how you feel. Do you have a connection with this person? And also, is the work being done?
Mm.
That's the biggest thing. If they're telling you that, you got to do X, Y, and Z, and whatever the case may be, you need to see that being done. You need to be on the phone when that's done. You need to be in person when that's done.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, because like I said, we're in the microwave era, but there's some plus to it because you can be on FaceTime with that person. We got Google Meet, we got WhatsApp, we got everything.
Right.
So there's no excuse to why that person can't show you exactly what needs to be done for you.
Nah, that's real. And I think, it's sad because there are a lot of people, unfortunately, who do get, they get screwed over because, whoever the person is that's doing the work for them, they'll do the work and say they did the work, but they don't show them no proof, no pictures, no videos, no nothing.
Yeah.
And that's an issue. And it's a very common thing that's been going on lately. I've actually spoken to a few people in the last, I want to say like week or so that's happened to, unfortunately, because you got, people who are saying that they're doing the work, but then they don't do the work. They don't send them any proof, any like verification, anything showing that, they actually did what they said they was going to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, it puts a bad, I feel like it kind of taints the reputation of the people who are moving the right way and doing things, the right way for the right reasons, because it makes it harder for people to trust people. You know what I mean? So it's like when you have people who are doing it that way, it makes it a lot difficult for everybody else who is doing it the right way.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's a fact, man. And like you said, it is getting tainted, but we also, just have to be the ones to, uphold what that is. That's why we're in the position that we are. That's why we're still young, and it's just one of those things that's like really, really unfortunate. And if your Ori guided you to someone who isn't doing the work, you have to really sit back and be like, okay, why did my Ori guide me here?
Mm.
And how can the next situation be better than this one? Because it's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just a learning curve. But also,
Right.
a lot of people need to know the difference between Isese and Lukumi and Candomblé and, Vodun or whatever, because a lot of people don't know the difference.
Right.
There's people who practice Isese and then there's ones who practice Lukumi. And you need to know that there's a viable difference between the two and how they do rituals, everything.
Mm.
Then the O'Shea 5 days, in Lukumi they have specific days for the Orisha, and Isese we have the Ifa calendar. So every 5 days, with us doing O'Shea, the days, everything is, it's just different. When it comes down to how they venerate or consecrate different pots. Everything is different. So at the end of the day, you have to know the difference in what you're getting yourself into as well, and know the significant difference, and also asking that person, do they practice Isese or Lukumi? You know what I mean? Because everybody say, yeah, I practice Ifa, but there's these systems inside of Ifa.
Right.
So there's, that's something that's significant that people need to know as well, as they move forward, because, a lot of people would think that, oh, well, this is the same as this. Like, no, it's not. There's a significant difference.
Yeah, no, that's real and that's facts. Now, and I'm glad you said that too, because that leads me into another question that I had is, what are some of the differences between the Sheshe tradition and way that things are done versus the Lukumi or the Santeria or the Candomblé, from different islands, because pretty much the way I see that its practice is based upon, I guess, whether you're doing traditional Isese or Ifa or Orisha worship from the traditional Nigerian aspects of it, or if you're doing it from, depending on what port or what stop in the Caribbean that you're connected to, that's kind of like what's indigenous to that particular island in the Caribbean. So, for example, like Trinidad and Tobago is a big Shango, island, right? And then you have Cuba. Cuba is a Santeria, I believe, island, and I believe Brazil is a Candomblé island. So it's all based upon like what part of the Caribbean, and then I think that's kind of like what goes into what they call the practice. But for someone like yourself who was born and raised in it, that has a lot more experience and exposure to it than most people who are new to it, especially people in the diaspora, what are some of the differences that separate each practice of this spiritual tradition and system? And then how can that be something that, because let me just ask that question first, and now I'll go into the next one, because I got a question to ask. Like, once you find out what the differences are, then like how should a person approach switching if they want to switch from one part to the Sheshe? So what are some of the differences you feel like from your perspective?
Well, the first thing that I want to acknowledge is that all systems are good. You know what I mean? Like, there's no the people make things bad that are in it.
Facts.
So I want to acknowledge that first. But with Lukumi, my family grew up in the Lukumi way, of doing things. And we transitioned over into doing, Isese. There was a lot of, learning and unlearning to learn again, So like I said, one of the biggest things is, in the Lukumi tradition, they have, days of the week that are dedicated to certain Orisha. They have, certain days. But in Isese, we have the calendar. So every 5 days, it's different. Every week is different.
Right.
So that's one aspect. Another aspect is, you may get Baba Eshu and Lukumi, but you're not considered to be a Babalawo or Iyanifa yet. You may just be a Orisha priest, but you receive, Baba Eshu. But in Isese, you don't receive Eshu until you become a Babalawo or Iyanifa. You receive Odara. So that's another, significant difference. And also, their messages are significantly different as well. When it comes down to the Odus that fall during divination, the messages are, they're really, really different, because in Lukumi, they may call the Orisha warriors, in Santeria, they may call them saints or, things of that nature. But in Isese, it's strictly Orisha. You know what I mean? So that's something that is also another difference. I'm trying to think. That's all I can really think of as of right now. Oh, well, also too, there's a lot of people within the Lukumi system that use a lot of Santeria ways. And also So, like even when it comes down to when you spray OT,
Mm-hmm.
and Lukumi, they may spray it 6 times for Shango.
Right.
They may spray it 4 times for Baba Ogun.
Mm-hmm.
In Isese, everything is pretty much 3 times.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So yeah, the traditional way of doing things versus Lukumi or Santeria, they're significantly different. But like I said, they're all still good.
Right.
Even if you transition over to Isese, you still keep what you have.
Mm-hmm.
If you started off with Lukumi and you go over to Isese, don't throw away anything because it's been consecrated. Like it's still alive.
Mm-hmm.
And so it doesn't lessen exactly what it is that you have. Like no, you keep it and you still feed it. You know what I mean? But you're just doing it the Isese way.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So that's like I said, it's just a lot of unlearning to learn,
Right.
which is not a bad thing. It's because Isese is more of it is the traditional way of doing Ifa.
Mm.
So the Lukumi and Santity, they're all just extensions of what Ifa is.
Mm.
Down to Isese. So yeah, but like I said, they're all good, they're all powerful, in their own right. And also something too that's Lukumi, that it kind of like went viral on social media, was that within Lukumi, they have a what do you call them, Eleke ceremonies.
Mm-hmm.
So even having a Eleke ceremony is a Lukumi way,
Mm.
not a traditional thing. So, but like I said, all of it is good, and there's no bad to it. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Even people going through Eleke ceremonies and stuff like that, like it gives people another appreciation for having the Elekes on. You
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people misuse what they have. So it's like to go through something, to go through that ceremony, to get those elekes, it gives people, that extra appreciation for, having it. And like months ago, like I said, it went viral, on social media because someone that has a particular name within the Sheshe community had talked about it and blasted it online, and there was people going back and forth about it. But I'm here to say that all of it is good, man, and we shouldn't look down upon people who practice Lukumi or Santeria or whatever the case may be. We should appreciate all of it because all of it has power.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And I'm here to say that as one of the vessels, and my family being one of the pioneers for where we are today, is that all of it is good. You
Mm.
know, all of it is good, and don't downplay the next thing. You know what I mean? Because the moment that you do that, you're downplaying Olodumare,
Mm-hmm.
because these are all extensions of Ifa.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So, and these, and practicing Lukumi made, it's helped so many different people for us to start practicing Isheshe.
Right. Facts.
You know what I mean? We have to start somewhere
Right.
and get here.
Almost like a prerequisite. Like if you're going to college or high school, whatever, you gotta kind of do like a couple of prereqs to get to where you're going to for your major. You know what I mean? That's what it's almost like to me, based off of how you explained it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We have to learn to appreciate all of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's, and I hate to, see people, go back and forth about, what's right and what's wrong. It's like, nah, man, all of it plays a major part in society.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's what, like I said, a lot of people really don't understand when it comes down to, Ifa. It's like, man, nah, Sheshe has helped a lot of people. Candomblé has helped a lot of people, Vodun, um, whatever the case may be, man. So we have to honor all of that. Even Christianity, the Nation of Islam. We got
Mm-hmm.
because they've all taken things from Ifa and implemented it into their religions or cultures.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to pay our respect to all of it because all of it has changed someone, some way, somehow.
That's facts. Yeah, no, that's definitely facts. And then one of the things too that I've been talking to people about is and this has actually been a topic on the channel as well, especially in the comments. But people in regards to the steps or the phases that it takes to get into the system. So the two different ways that I know is pretty common, and I'd be interested to hear what your take is on it in terms of from a Isese perspective. But from the way I was taught or in my beginning path of raised in it, the first step would be, and every house is different. So I want to make sure I'm perfectly clear on that because I know, people come from different houses, different places, different, everything is different. Even to the color of your ilekes, certain houses have certain colors for certain orishas, but that can vary depending on the house. So I want to put that disclaimer out there before, anybody gets it twisted or misconstrued. But in terms of what I've been taught or what I've learned along my journey with the steps or the phases into, the whole initiation progress or process is most people primarily the first step is getting your elekes, which the way I was taught or raised in it was a ceremony for the elekes. You have a ceremonial ceremony for that, and then the next traditionally would be receiving your warriors. And what the warriors are, for those who don't know, the warriors are when you receive your consecrated Eshu, his stone head, and then you receive your consecrated pot of Forogun with all of his tools in it, and it's consecrated as well. And then you receive, well, some houses will have Ochosi with Ogun, some may have Ochosi by himself. So like I said, it's all subjective into the house in which you were raised. And then some people, it might be initiation the next phase. Some people, it might be the hand of E5 and then initiation. You know what I mean? Like that's what my path was. It was Elekes, warriors, hand of E5, Obatala, and then E5. So it's like, but it can vary because some people might get their hand of E5 and go right into E5. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's different ways for different houses, different strokes for different folks. But from the way you were brought up in terms of the Isese way, which way would you say would be the Isese way in terms of the steps and phases to the path of to the initiation?
Well, we grew up Lukumi.
Gotcha.
We grew up Lukumi first and then transitioned over to Isese. So
Gotcha.
we didn't start really going Isese until I became Babala.
Gotcha.
Other than that, it's like, everything had been the Lukumi way. You know what I mean? So there was certain things that I was learning before, I was becoming Babalao and Shango priest. But yeah, man. So it was Ele ceremony, and then from there, you may go through Hantifa, but
Mm-hmm.
you may go from or you become an Orisha priest, or some people go straight from Ele ceremony straight to becoming Babalao Yanifa.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So yeah, man. So there's everybody's journey is different.
That's real.
So, but for me, it was me going through my leke ceremony first, and then from there I became an Egungun priest at 19.
Mm.
Then from Egungun, I had to wait, a number of years to go through, and become a Babalawo. And then, 3 days after that, I became a Shango priest.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So I said my journey was different, even in speaking that, like my journey, even coming back, from making my priesthood in Oshobo, um, it's a rebirth, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have to pay attention to the aspects. So
Right.
even for me, it's like when I came back, I had to start all over again. So I started off doing a bunch of Egungun work when I came back
Mm.
because that was the first thing that I initiated to.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm had to rewind to move forward.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, boom, I'm doing, a lot of Egungun work, my ancestors, and, making sure that that's what it needs to be. And, from there, Now, you know, Shango is very prevalent in the things that I'm going through right now. So I'm doing a lot of Shango work. And then from there, I'm going into, you know, my phase of being a, you know, a Babalawo, you know, servicing people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, that's, you know, we have to pay attention to the evolution of what we're going through to get to where we need to go. You know what I mean? And, you know, an elder that I was talking to that had told me the story about Shango. You know, I was telling him about, you know, a little bit about my life and how I grew up, you know, with a baseball player and this and that. And he was like, man, you know, he was like, one thing that you have to realize, he was like, even baseball players, when you think about a pitcher, because I grew up with a pitcher, you know, he was a pitcher for 21 years, you know, my dad. So he was like, even for him, he said, you have to recognize that, you know, even for him, he had to take a step back in order to throw that pitch. He had to take a step back in order to move forward. So he was like, that's basically what you did with your life. He was like, man, you may have left, you know, millions of dollars and the big house and all the cars and whatever, but you took a step back in order to propel your life forward and to propel your legacy, your grandparents and your parents' legacy forward. You know what I mean? Spiritually, from a spiritual aspect. And so when he said that, I was like, oh man, this is interesting. You know, I've never heard it from that perspective.
Right.
So you know, we have to look at the evolution of, you know, our lives and where we are and the things that we go through.
Sure. Nah, that's real. Look, and shout out to the people who are on the channel, man. This technology is something. So the live stream, for some reason, I don't know if you heard the little blasts now with the intro music, but the live excuse me, the stream for some reason wasn't streaming live publicly on YouTube. It was only on there privately. So I was trying to see what was going on while you were explaining your answer to me, and I saw that it wasn't streaming. So I'm not sure what that was about. I got to figure out like how to get this platform to operate. But it's been a lot going on with technology, period, though, man. I guess like you and I were speaking about off air, the Mercury retrograde or something, because, you know, I've had multiple situations where, you know, it was either my technology was acting a fool or the guest technology was acting a fool or our speakers aren't working right. The video ain't coming out clear. The sounds now. I mean, it's been a lot of it's been a lot of crazy stuff going on with this technology, man, like for real. So it's like, yeah, we're gonna push through and make it do what it do regardless. But I definitely, you know, I apologize for the people who were looking at the live stream, because I did post that we were going live today at 6 p.m. So my apologies for the technical difficulties, which just seem to be on the rise as of late. But we're still gonna push through this thing, and we're gonna continue to, you know, bring the live streams to the people, because it's, like I said, it's definitely a lot of feedback and a lot of love and support going on for the channel, you know, online and in person. So I'm gonna give a quick shout out and thank you for everybody who's taking the time to comment, like, share, you know, give feedback, you know, the pros, the cons, everything. We definitely appreciate it, because it helps us to kind of pivot and maneuver to keep, you know, growing and evolving and bringing value with the content that we create for you, for the channel. So shout out and salute to all the African spirituality experience supporters, for the Isese posts, subscribers and supporters. We appreciate all the love from everybody, and we hit the 300 mark. So shout out to everybody for running us past the 300 mark on the channel, man. We definitely appreciate that for sure.
Sure.
And shout out to all the other guests, you know, who kind of helped us to get to where we are now. And big ups to you, Baba Karaday, you know, for being regulars and doing what y'all do. You know, it's definitely appreciated. And I feel like the people are learning a lot. Hell, I'm learning a lot, you know, because everybody has different experiences and everybody has different access to wisdom, you know, different access to teachers and to different access to information that other people don't have. So I think that's what I really love and appreciate about this platform, is that we're bringing a diverse group of people together that all have the same common, you know, goal and accord, which is to uplift and empower our community. So I definitely want to give a shout out to everybody who's been involved with the process so far. We definitely appreciate y'all for sure.
Yeah, you know, and I definitely want to, you know, highlight, you know, our last guest, Hondread, as well. You know, appreciate him, and you know, for any, you know, for any artists out there that are in the Isese community, We definitely we're going to supply, our platform to you all as well to start promoting your music as well. So if you are in the Sheshe community or even Lukumi, we definitely want to really start highlighting you all, and really just helping you all out, as far as your music goes. Because Hondread was our first artist that we had on here, and he's really, really, influential within the Sheshe community. So definitely, y'all definitely tap in with us, and we'll help support you. If you like your music, we have to like your music first and foremost. No trash on these Sheshe. We're gonna keep it raw and real. You know what I mean? And I'm a person who's been in the music industry for 12 years now, and I'm not having it. I was in radio for a long time. Like, nah, I'm not. Nope. If you're not just as dope as Hondread, or if you're not, we're not going to promote violence. If you're about that life, like, nah, that's not what we own. We're about positivity, pushing the culture forward, nice, clean music that can tend to everyone, grandparents, kids, everyone out there. So yeah, we want to put that out there for y'all.
Listen, I gotta say something, man. You setting the bar real high, saying if they not as good as 100. No disrespect to some of the other artists, because I know there's some other artists that I'm connected to and you're connected to, and I rock with them too. But that's setting the bar real high, saying that. So we gotta, we gotta kind of, I think weigh it, in terms of the quality. Because my boy said 100 to nothing. My boy said 100 to nothing. Like he definitely doing.
We need high quality music that we can support, because we're a high quality show. You know what I'm saying? We're high quality people, and we want to keep pushing the narrative, man. Because like I said, if your music isn't up to par, you cannot put it on these Sheshe posts. For the people that I know,
right.
Listen, get back in the stew and make something that's positive that everybody can listen to.
Oh man, listen. Yeah, shout out to 100 though, man. 100 was dope. I'm looking forward to doing it with him again. Matter of fact, I was chopping it up in the DMs the other day. I was telling him I got to get with you to see when we can make something happen again, man. Because that definitely was dope having him on there. And the people who really are true supporters of the show, like they know what it was and what it is, and they definitely they was excited, man, to see that interview. Like it definitely was dope to see the person that they know behind the music of the Ashe podcast, like the intro and the outro of the Ashe podcast. They know the music, and shout out to every person who stopped by to even ask who he is. You know what I'm saying? Because they was like, yo, this is dope, man. Who was that artist? You know what I'm saying? Like, who was that singing the intro and the outro on the pod? So it's like to have him come in here and drop the acapellas, and you know what I'm saying, to come in and share his story and share his share his journey, man. That was dope. And shout out and salute the 100 for sure. 100 or nothing.
Man, listen, bro. As I said, we set the bar high. You know what I mean? So we gotta keep that momentum. You know what I mean? So like I said, we just want to keep good quality music on the platform, and we want to support y'all. You know what I mean? And just keep however we can help propel you forward. We're here to help. You know what I mean? This is a growing platform, and as we grow, you grow. So that's what we're about. But we definitely appreciate you all tuning in. This is the Sheshe Post, sponsored by the Balagoon Shango office. I am Baba Sango NiYi. My co-host Orisha, I appreciate you as always, my brother. And we will see y'all next time in the next 5 days on the Isese Post. God bless you.
Yes, sir. And on the way out, man, shout out to the new talent that we had come through on the channel throughout the last week or two, and we're looking forward to having more new talent as well. So especially like the feminine energy. So for all the listeners out there, if you have anybody in mind that you think would be a good fit, to collaborate with the Isese Post or with the Ashe podcast, holla at us, meet up with us or connect with us on the socials or on the channels in the comments, because we definitely want to grow and take this thing to the next level, brother. So I definitely appreciate you, having me on and chopping it up, with the good people on the Isese post and Isese to Shango and this Ose Shango day today, man. I definitely appreciate you for sure.
I show.
Okay. All right, we out, y'all. Peace.